We need more diverse students, more students from disadvantaged and underrepresented backgrounds in medical school. That is not a controversial take. That's not even a new thought. What is a hot take, however, is that free medical school alone is not going to accomplish this goal. In fact, based on data and what people actually think, what people are seeing, that's just reality. I recently chatted about whether or not free medical school would motivate more students to pursue primary care. That was NYU's goal. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. Now I want to explore whether or not free medical school would actually create a more diverse medical student body. This topic is especially important now, since in 2023, the Supreme Court ended affirmative action for college admissions, and this naturally has a downstream effect when it comes to getting into medical school. I mean, right now, about 6% of US physicians are Black or Hispanic Latina, and around 0.1 to 0.3% identify as Indigenous Americans, Native Hawaiians, or Pacific Islanders. Is free medical school the answer? Well, that's based on a huge assumption that the cost of medical school, incoming debt, is the single greatest barrier for students from diverse backgrounds, as if every single student from every background had the same level of resources and the same opportunity, where we're all equally competitive prior to applying, and just the prospect of debt is what caused the disparity. I don't know if that's reality. Let's take a look at NYU. After the free tuition announcement, total applications to the medical school went up 50%, and from underrepresented groups, it was 100%. In 2019, the Associate Dean for Admissions said, quote, "A key driver was to remove a financial disincentive that dissuades people from pursuing a path in medicine. But the acceptance rate stayed under 3%, and the average MCAT and GPA to get in went up." So basically, the school just became more competitive. I will always commend anyone anywhere who is making medical school more affordable and more accessible. But with NYU, it seems a tuition gift just made it harder for students from disadvantaged backgrounds to actually get in. I mean, congratulations, you got more applications. This probably helped in ratings. You got mentioned in news headlines, but are you actually achieving your mission? At NYU, over the last few years, Black students make up about 11% of the medical school class, which is actually down from 2017 before the tuition gift. And students from low income backgrounds who this would really benefit, they used to make up around 12% of the class prior to the free tuition announcement, and now it's around 3 to 7%. According to students from underrepresented backgrounds, the outreach, the equal opportunity needs to start way earlier. The K through 12 process needs to be addressed, as does mentorship opportunities and guidance throughout college, MCAT prep, resources for interviews, research opportunities, and so much more. I want to read part of an interview from an interventional cardiology fellow who came here as a refugee. "For me, growing up, basic necessities like a quiet study space, high-speed internet, healthy meals, and proper sleep were luxuries of which I could only dream. After resettling in the US as a political refugee, I lived in circumstances where such comforts were out of reach, and my path to medical school seemed insurmountable." I also spoke to a friend and pediatric hand surgeon, Dr. Michael Galvez, who is outspoken about the need to improve representation in medicine, about what he thought would actually work to diversify medical schools. And he mentioned adversity scores, or looking at the distance traveled for applicants, as well as efforts to recruit from local, state, and community colleges, which often reflect local underserved populations. Dr. Galvez also agreed that while metrics like GPA and MCAT are important, medical schools should also consider the impact applicants may have had for local underserved communities and life experiences that may represent significant potential contributions applicants can make for public health. The effort needs to start early. If we take a look at one of the most diverse medical schools in the country, UC Davis, we can see how this makes a difference. At UC Davis, in the class of 2026, about half of the 133 students come from underrepresented backgrounds in medicine. I'm taking a look at their website from the Office of Student and Resident Diversity, and it lists K through 12 outreach programs, undergraduate and community college programs, specific plans for post-bac students, support systems, and there's so many resources for students that extend far beyond just pre-medical students. My home institution, Stanford School of Medicine, has similar programs as well, similar ways for students from underrepresented backgrounds to find support and mentorship. This all makes a huge difference. And regarding the actual admissions process for medical school, I'll highlight the Johns Hopkins School of Medicine and the adaptations they've made to create a more fair and holistic process. It includes a clear mission statement about diversity enhancement, anonymous voting, a larger group to avoid bias, not showing academic metrics to interviewers, implicit association tests and trainings, removing photos from applications, and appointing women, minorities, and young people with less implicit bias to the committees. Does this seem like a lot? It is, because a comprehensive approach is what it takes to build a more diverse U.S. physician workforce, which will provide more culturally competent care, empower future generations, break down barriers and disparity in healthcare, and ultimately improve public health. I mean, free tuition is awesome. I'm jealous. But on its own, to solve these problems, this all feels like a misguided attempt. You agree? Comment below.